Hi, my name is Jill. You are here at Road Culture Rules, and I wanted to bring something up. I don't even have a lot of good insights and thoughts about it. We've been talking about it a little bit. It's sort of this war on men. I just did some more listening about the real boys crisis, and I wanted to respond. I'm going to have a link below to the TED Talk that I listened to, so I think it would be helpful to put all this in context. But before we do that, we're going to take a deep breath. Inhale for 4, exhale. And hold, and I will see you on the other side.
Raise your hand, please, if you have a son, a grandson, or a nephew. Please raise your hand. Second two, is there a boy crisis?
So I know I've gotten a little bit of feedback from more earlier videos about why am I talking about men's stuff and what happened in the nomad thing. And once upon a time I talked about the idea of survival and legacy. I know, it's really confusing. It's very clear in my head. It's not so clear in these little tiny videos. But really all of this pulls together. And, you know, when I started out on this journey 1,000 years ago, it was the excitement of building a new world. And, you know, I wanted to find my tribe. I wanted to find my community. I got out there. I couldn't find anybody. I couldn't find a place to live. Nothing fit. So I kind of retreated, and I've been stuck from a physical perspective, but, you know, very active internally. And so far this journey has sort of progressed into this thing about what's going on with men. And now, you know, it's sort of branching out to what's going on with boys and what's really just going on. And why I want to talk about this is that all of this stuff pulls together. It's, you know, it's not about what is the problem, what are we going to do about it. It's, to me, it's about how are we going to expand our thinking in such a way that we can realistically begin to create new systems so that everybody wins. And it's so easy to get locked into the male-female culture, an issue around culture, ethnicity, racial bias, all those things. It's really easily to get running down that path. But the more that I learn about what's going on with men and what's going on with boys, it really makes me realize what a critical component the men are to building our civilization, which really means creating new systems. And you know, like so many people, I grew up at a time where women were just, you know, trying to find their own, and I was part of that transition process. And so I got caught up in a lot of that hype, which at the time was probably appropriate, and now we're seeing the problems associated with it and having to pull back. But I think that's the important message, is we need to be willing to continuously do two things. One, re-examine, you know, our belief systems, but two, and this is what I also see in the comments, so many people have given up. And there's a lot of men, you guys just seem like you've given up. And it isn't about the romance. It isn't about romantic relationships, which are really nice. And I don't know why it's so hard for all of us to be participate in that. But we won't talk about that today. But I do want to talk about, you know, how do we, I don't really have the answer to this. I sort of had this thought the other day that, you know, men really build the civilization, and women, we kind of want to run around and make it beautiful. And I would have, you know, wanted to kick myself in my own rear end for saying that. But it seems to me, having lived in this little town, that's kind of what happens, is that the women just come in and they're all focused on the way everything looks and making sure the little kids are taken care of, but there's no infrastructure that's being addressed. Like the water system's been crapped out forever, and the roads are bad, and the houses are a mess. And so, you know, everything that I am taking in, you know, I talked about integrating the male and female within us, but we also have to integrate the male and the female within our systems, which is not just our relationships, but our culture and our community. And I don't know how to do that. You know, I periodically get emails from mostly men who I think connect with something that I'm talking about, just saying, you know, we want to share ideas, we want to be friends. And I, I'm at a point where I don't even know, can men and women be friends anymore? It's not from a childish perspective, but because I don't know. It's really difficult. I think the hardest part about that I really, I'm just struggling with today is that, I recognize I don't think the way most women think. I'm not a man. I can't participate in a man's world. I can't relate to what's important to women, but I can see what's important overall. And I don't know what to do with all this. I just know that I feel this strong thing lately that men, you've got to come back to the party because you're so much that's important for you to contribute to our society. And I think older men really have to reach out to the younger ones and guide them in a way that maybe you didn't get. And it's frustrating for me because I can't be part of that, and I don't know how to support you in that other than I would like to say I can see how important that is. And it's something that I'm kind of frustrated with right now. I have this sense of these next 10 years are going to be critical. These next 10 years are really about tearing down old systems and really allowing something new and hopefully better to emerge from the ashes. But I don't, like you, I don't want to do a big tear down. But it's got to happen. And part of that is somehow all of us, men and women, regardless of our ethnicity or whatever culture we're in, we've got to find a way to come together and work together and bring the benefits we both have. There seems to be this fixation on making one or the other wrong, and because what you don't understand. And I think the other issue is when you're not feeling like you get what you need. I think that's a huge thing, and it's something I struggle with because I struggle because, like I said, I don't totally understand you guys. I know I relate more to what men think about than what women think about, but I'm not part of the man party, and I'm not good with being full-time in the female party, and so I don't know how to really be helpful at this point. And I know that it isn't about me. It's not about having a conversation with me. It's about having conversations out in our own community, in our own world. And one of the reasons I am trying to move this to just more of a conversational thing is what I talked about with the AI, is that we make our decisions emotionally. So I can rattle off statistics all day long, which you'll see if you watch the video below, about what's happening to our boys and what's happening with men. And we'll all say, oh yeah, that's really a problem. And then we go along our merry way. But how do we make it personal? And that's, a question I'm asking myself right now. How do I make a personal difference? Because talking with people one-on-one isn't really helpful for me at this point. Talking to random people by email across the globe, having, the same conversation in lots of different emails. I don't think that's probably helpful. So I don't have any answers other than I just felt compelled to start again back on this conversation, after listening to some more interviews and talks and information today, that what's going on in our society is real, and it's not going to be fixed by governments. It's not going to be fixed by cultural institutions. It's going to have to really be addressed with each of us within our own family and friends, and really deciding to take it on, whether it's through your church or your school or some kind of organization, just looking at the immediate surroundings, like who do you have access to, who can you reach out to in your tiny little world, because if we don't, the tragedies involved are just epic. The tragedies are just epic. And I got to be honest, my heart's breaking a little bit it's breaking a lot a bit about that. And what's happening to the children, to the boys and the girls. But what's happening to the boys is really bad. And I don't think women can fix it. I think men have to fix this issue. And, as a woman, I want to get out of the way and I want to be supportive. And I don't know how, other than to encourage you to be part of it, to somehow get involved. And for all the women who watch this, however, I don't know how we can be helpful. That's something I'm struggling with, because Sometimes we make it worse. And I think the most upsetting thing as a woman, I'm going to have to do this later because we are way here at the end of the video, is in our desire to be helpful, we make it worse. I don't know how to fix that. But until the next time, we're going to break it off there. So I'm going to invite you to take one more deep breath for the road as I hope you will rise with the sun in your eyes, love in your heart, feet firmly on the ground as together we're walking on Survival Road, one step at a time, because it really is about one step, one breath, one idea, one thought, one action. Just one little thing at a time, one little video at a time. I can't change the world. I can just make one little video at a time. And I really want to figure out how to be helpful to the men and the boys in a way from the woman's side. I really do. So with that, I hope you will live free and die well, my friend. I will see you next time.